Some childhood wounds are invisible, but they shape how you think, feel, and live. Most people talk about abuse. But what about the signs that go unnoticed? The ones that feels normal but actually comes from deep parental trauma. Hey, it's Cluster of Magic, and today I'm going to talk about this. So let's talk about them and how to heal. Forced maturity. You were not just a kid, you were a caregiver. You handled your parents' emotions, acted as therapists, and maybe even took financial or household responsibilities too early. Instead of being protected, you become the protector. If I talk about myself, I also been through this. I also have helped my mom through so many things. I have to be the unpaid therapist for her, to listen all the talks, all the things she went through, so that she can feel better. But in return, it just gave me nothing but trauma. Now we're gonna talk about how to heal from it. Realize that your needs matter too. You were never meant to be their emotional caretaker. Start allowing yourself to receive care. Whether it's asking for help, letting yourself be vulnerable, or simply resting without guilt. Journaling helps uncover where you feel responsible for things that are not yours to carry. As I also went through this, I also was so much anxious for in asking help from anybody out there, even if it was my friend. Yes, from my parents. It's turned out that I was doing the same thing to everybody in my life, even if they were my classmates, they were my friends. Doesn't matter. I was like, I was not ready to take help from anybody else. But later on, from now, I do take help and I do help them in return. But I do take help without feeling guilty, without like making it too much big deal for myself, so that I can know that I tell myself that I deserve this. I deserve to get love. I deserve to get this care from the persons I actually care about. Silent terror. You grew up walking on eggshells. One day they were calm, the next day they exploded. Now, uncertainty makes you anxious, and you constantly scan people's emotion before they even says a word. Example, if your dad came home in a bad mood, the whole house had to adjust. You learned to read every small changes in their tone, their footstep, their signs, just to avoid conflicts. And now, how to heal from it? Recognize that other people's emotions are not your responsibility. Start by grounding yourself when you feel the urge to overanalyze someone's mood. Breathe, remind yourself their reaction is theirs, not mine. Build emotional safety within. Instead of scanning for danger, scan for safety. Notice who makes you feel at peace and lean into those relationships. If I say what I did in this and what I had went through, I did went through the same thing. When my dad comes home, his mood, his signs, the way he talks, the way his facial expressions are, I always had to adjust myself. I would just delay it till his mood is good. But then I went like, and I used to take blame for their reaction, for their actions. I used to take blame and put myself somewhere in the shoes. But then I realized, and now I actually tell myself that their reaction is there, not mine. Their shoes is not mine to fit in, and I do not have to walk in their shoes, because that's their life. Eventually, everybody has to face their own problems somehow. And I also did these things to make myself overcome these fears, these emotions, and I built this safety within myself to make myself feel more better. And I know you can do it too. Conditional affections. You were only prized when you achieved something, only loved when you obeyed. Affection was given based on performance, not simply being you. If you got good grades, they prized you. If you did what they wanted, they called you a good child. But the moment you had your own thoughts, needs, they pulled back their love. Now, understand that love should not be earned. It should be given freely. Affirm yourself daily. I'm worthy, even if I'm doing nothing. Practice small acts of rebellion. Saying no, expressing opinions, doing things for joy instead of approval. If I talk about myself, I also did so many things to get prized by my parents, by those who pretend to love me, to earn their love. But then I realized that love is not something that I have to work for, but it should be given freely, the way I give it to others. Why I'm not earning it back? Because I'm letting them stay in my life and treat me the same. Now I have settled down each and every person boundary, that I know that what kind of talk I want from this person and what would they say if I talk about something. So I just do not start conversation with them. I just go like, okay, whatever you say, you are good, you are great. And I tell myself that I'm worthy of love, and I do not have to do overwork to get love, to get care, to like hear some affectionating word from others. And if I do hear it, then I'm worthy of it. I'm not a burden on this world. Suppressed childhood. Your childhood feels like a blur. Not because nothing happened, but because too much happened and your mind buried it to survive. You barely remember being happy as a child. If someone asks about your childhood, your mind goes blank or only recalls the stressful moments. Because I went to the same things, my mind also goes blank when someone asks me about what's my favorite memory from my childhood, because I had nothing. I do have some, but my mind doesn't just think about them. Instead, my mind think about something else, which should not be thinking about. And the thing is, now I have started to connect with my childhood joy, that I have started regaining the memories of my childhood of fun right now, and literally I'm so much happy to be here to speak this, and I have healed so much more than before. And what you also can do is start reconnecting with your inner child. Look at old photos, visit places that reminds you of your childhood, do small things that make you happy as a kid. For me, it was jumping around, laughing with my friends, speaking nonsense, and just enjoying the moment. Because that's what I used to do. I didn't remember it from on that moment, but when I started to connect with my inner child, I actually realized that, oh, I used to be a person who loves to live in present, and if I don't do that, it's actually lead me to anxiety, overthinking, and procrastination. Therapy or deep journaling can help unlock suppressed memories, but go slow. Healing is a process and not a race completely. Last but not the least, emotional blackmail. Whenever you tried to set boundaries, they made you feel selfish. They used guilt, obligation, or fear to keep control over you. Now choosing yourself feels wrong. If you wanted to move out, they said, so you are abandoning us. If you said no to something, they acted hurt, making you feel like a bad person. Same thing happened to me, that everyone around me put me in situations, try to manipulate me and making me feel bad about doing things which I want to do. I felt like a bad person, I felt like a villain. The thing is, I heal from it. That's why I'm helping you out too. Know that guilt doesn't mean you were wrong. It means you were conditioned to feel bad for having needs. Start setting small boundaries. Say no to something minor and remind yourself, my needs matters too. Remember, love is not control, and real love does not make you feel trapped. Childhood trauma doesn't just disappear when you grow up. It shows up in your tears, your habits, your relationships, but recognizing it is the first step to breaking free. Which of these signs hit home for you, and what's one way you are working on healing? Let's talk in the comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more. And hope you have learned something, and if there are any problem, anything disturbing you, you can just talk to me. I'll be there for you. I'm proud of you.